Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss an update from the Beverage Trade Network.
Hi, I'm Rajat Parr. I'm the winemaker partner at Sandhi, Domaine, Cote, and Evening Land Vineyards. Yeah, I started making wine recently, but before that I was sommelier. I started here in San Francisco in 1996. I worked with Larry Stone at Rubicon Restaurant. 3 years there, then at the Fifth Floor Restaurant. 3 years there, and then with Michael Mina since 2002, and I've worked with Michael since then. And then a few years ago, I kind of moved to Santa Barbara and kind of spend most of my time now working on the wines, the vineyards, and off the restaurant floor, but still very much connected. I think the sommelier craft is a very important part of how we make wine, because we have been able to see what the customers like and what their palates are like and what they want and how they drink and when they drink and what they drink with. So it's really helped us kind of think about wine in a different way, because you're not making wine in a vacuum. You're making wine with people in mind and people who are drinking the wine. So definitely that experience was key. I think in the last 5 years we've seen people wanting fresher wines, people wanting lighter wines, maybe slightly lower alcohol, just wines which are more kind of more freshness and more crunch, not heavy cloying wines. Depends on who we're talking to, but most people now I see a lot of people asking for fresher, more kind of vibrant wines, and I think that's a universal trend happening around the world. I think one of the key things for a sommelier is they listen to what the guest wants, because all of us have our own ideas, our own favorites, but the best sommeliers always listen to what the guest wants and serve them exactly what they ask for, not what the sommelier wants himself to sell. I think to be a lead sommelier, it's very, very complex, because first of all, you are focused on hospitality. You're here, if you run food, you have to bus tables, you have to do wine recommendations, you have to pour wine, open wine. Then before that, you have to buy wine, stock wine, create an accurate wine inventory, create an accurate wine list. So all these things come in play. So it's not just service. Service is the fun part of the whole game. I think before that, when you're, back of the house, you're putting boxes away and put the right pricing, put the right vintage, educate the staff. There's a lot before you come on the floor, but I think the whole job is quite detailed, and that's only in one restaurant. And if you take care of multiple restaurants, then just multiply a job by whatever. If you have 5 restaurants, it's every month you have inventory, every week you change the wine list, or it's quite complex. These days it's hard finding talent, because there's so many restaurants and the competition is pretty severe. So we like training them from the start. So hiring someone who is very young, start them off as a junior sommelier, and then train them, and then empower them with duties that will enable them to stay in the job for longer than just a few months, because people get bored. They need motivation. So you train them and you try to keep them at the position for as long, and then keep them kind of engaged. And when you have the next best opportunity, take them up to the next level and slowly kind of bring them to the top. So of course, being a sommelier, one thing is you got to make money, and the other thing is an opportunity to taste different wines. So really expose them to different wines, to taste older wines, to spend time with them, take them to a wine region, maybe do a little travel, really give them, push them, because you can't just get a sommelier and say, okay, here's your job, just do it on your own. You have to really engage with them, spend time with them, and push them so then they learn, because it's not just a 9-to-5 job and you're done. It's just you have to spend time with the junior sommeliers to really bring them up to a higher level, because I think that's key for them. I think they can make money everywhere, but really how you can motivate them to make sure they get better at the job every day. Yeah, the first week is almost nothing to do with wine, because you spend time in the kitchen, you run food, you see how the restaurant works, you observe service, and learn the system of the restaurant, because as a sommelier, you're fitting into a program that's already pretty well run. So, wine is one part of the restaurant. Service is the most important part. Learn the food. So the first week, mostly people are spending time in the kitchen, looking at the food, looking at dishes, spending time with the chef, and understanding how the restaurant operates. And then the next step will be incorporated into moving boxes and cellar work. And it might be, a week. And
how long do you think that period might be?
Oh, it could be, depends how busy the restaurant, could be a week, 10 days before you even get on the restaurant floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, there's two kinds of restaurants we're talking about here. One is an individual small restaurant, which is very, very highly curated by the chef and the beverage team, where you really have to incorporate the ideas of the chef and the menu into the wine list. And then it depends how big it is. If it's a small restaurant, you change the wine list every day, every week, every month. But if you're talking about a big restaurant, which is like the menu doesn't change that often, and the high volume restaurants, then you can change the wine list every day. You change maybe wine list every month, and it's different for different restaurants. But if you're in a small restaurant, people come to small restaurants and they come often because they want to see change. If the same menu lasts for 3 months, then you might just get people who come once every 3 months, once every 6 months. But if it's a spot everyone comes once a week or twice a week, then you want to change the restaurant, change the wine list and the food quite often. So. Yeah, wine with the glass program, again, depends on the size of the restaurant. A small restaurant should be changing it as often as possible, because if the menu is changing, the wines are changing. If the menu stays the same, then everything depends on season, depends on the menu. And some restaurants who have a menu changing every day, but the glass changes every day.
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing. But if sometimes the menu is not changing, maybe every season, every 3 months, then the wine with the glass changes every 3 months. So it just depends on how you adapt. But everything is basically taken from how inspirational the kitchen is. It's actually very simple. You talk to the staff, open a bottle. So if you have wine, just you bought a case 2 months ago, 1 bottle sold, and you have like 11 bottles left. You're like, this is crazy. This is a great wine. Open a bottle, talk to the staff, make them taste it. Guarantee the wine will be gone in no time. It's just people want to hear things about the wine. It might be a different name to pronounce, might be a different appellation they haven't heard of. So if you don't know, because people sell what's easy, and it's just that if you make it easy for them, give them information about the wine will be sold very easily. So of course, here we work with something like, I think almost 40 different vendors for wine. And some people we buy maybe, 2-3 cases a month. Some we buy 30 cases a month or more. Just depending on who it is. That relationship is very, very personal. If you have a good distributor and a good salesperson, of course you'll focus on them. If people bring you the wine, how efficient they are, how they check in with you, it's very important to build that relationship, because allocations, of course, people who like your company, who like the restaurant, you buy wine from them, they'll give you best allocations. That relationship is key to maintain. You email back, you respond. If you're busy, just say, yes, I'll get back to you next week. Not just say, okay, you know what? Not responding to a distributor or to a salesperson is almost rude. Because if someone emails you, say, okay, if you're not interested, say, okay, I don't want the wine. But you should definitely respond to them and say, okay, it's not I'm not ready yet. Maybe in a month, maybe does it fit the program right now? It's important to communicate with the with the distributor or the sales rep. Yeah, for sure. When I'm on a table and I'm selling wine, I don't really necessarily look at someone and say, what they're going to spend. I'll give them different price ranges, usually 3, and kind of gauge what they like. First, of course, listen to them, what wine they want, and then give them 3 different options, and then see if they select those 3 options. Sometimes they say, oh no, I want something much better than that, or I want something less. Yeah. And then you adapt, but you don't give them just one option. You don't give them 5 options. I think the number I've come down to after all these years of working the floor is 3 options. And here's 3 different wines you can have. 3 different styles, 3 different prices. Without ever measuring the price, just pointing towards them. No, not saying, oh, this is this for this much. It's like, here's a wine which is this style, this style, this style. And you don't have to tell them what it is. They can look at a wine list and they can, Yeah, it's very important. To have a mentor is extremely important. I had Larry Stone. He's been a father figure. He's taught me so much more than just wine. It's almost like having a coach by you. Having someone who will tell you, how to deal with not only wine but how to deal with people, and things you don't learn unless you have experience. He always focused on, on tasting, to taste as many wines with as many people, and really, explore what's out there. Because sometimes many sommeliers get lazy and they say, oh, I'm too busy to taste wine. I'll just look at a list and buy what I feel like. But really, he said you should taste wine and taste as much wine as possible to really open up your mind, because it's a pretty big and wide wine world out there. Yeah. Yeah, people copy a lot of wine lists because I guess they don't want to research themselves. They want to just pick what's trendy right now, what's popular right now. I think it's a mistake, because you really want to put a stamp on the wine list, your own ideas, and that's only happens by tasting and traveling and reading. You can't just look at someone's wine and say, oh, I want the same wine list, because that's boring. And that's a very personal thing. You have to really. It takes time and energy to do that. Copying wine lists is not interesting. I think it's interesting is, to create your own style, create your own identity on your wine list, because you're the one selling the wine, and it's important to you to have the voice. And I still have, Jancis's book and Clive Coates and, I read a bunch, and we wrote this book. Me and Jordan wrote the book, what we wanted to have 20 years ago, the Atlas of Taste, Sommelier's Atlas of Taste. And it was kind of based on like all these books, like, Hugh Johnson's book and Jancis's book, and then write a book which is a reference for us. Even I sometimes go back and like look at it myself. I'm like, wow, like, you forget what you wrote, and it's important to reference books. There's so many different books with focuses on different regions. We wanted to focus on the whole Europe, all the classic wines, and that was our book. So. Our book is very practical, because it's the taste of the place, and we focus on the soil, the history, the culture of the place, and relate the classic wines with the place and why it tastes the way it tastes. So you can open up and go to the Jura section or Beaujolais section or Loire or Bordeaux, Burgundy, and kind of see what village, what the general characteristics of, maybe what Fleury tastes like, or, what does, Poulsard from Arbois taste like, or what does, Left Bank Bordeaux taste like. So just, different places and relating the taste with the soil. I guess probably maybe Italy was hard as a whole. I think Tuscany was hard because there isn't that much research in the soil we saw. So we had a hard time to kind of put the soil with the taste of the wine. That was the hardest probably, yeah.
So it's included in the book, Tuscany?
It is, yeah. It was hard though. It took us a lot of time to kind of, really find out what.
More data.
Yeah, it's because it's not there. It's there. It's very limited. So it was hard.
Good. How can people find out more about the book?
The book's available everywhere on Amazon mostly, and there's been a few reviews. It's been, it's around. It's or contact me basically directly. So. I think sustainability. That's what's the most important. I think that is, to really understand the vineyard, to really understand what we're drinking. I think that too many times we just pick up a bottle and look at a brand and drink it. But really, I think sustainability, organic viticulture, what it takes to really produce something which is from the place. I think that's key. I think my future interest of study and to delve into something which is way more complex is definitely sustainability. Everything from soil to the ecosystem to carbon imprint, everything, how and why we do this. Because end of the day, this planet is falling apart, and all of us have to make an effort to kind of make sure that it, lasts another millennia. I think social media is important, I'm sure, but it has to be organic. It has to be something which is just comes from the heart. I think if you play it too hard, and it must feel that it's a thing. It's not just something made up with a story. So of course, stories are important, but a real story, not like some story marketed to some demographic that is not true. So I think, but it's very important. I think Instagram and maybe Twitter, Facebook, less so, but just to be out there and talk about what you're doing, because it's the cheapest way to do it. Because we don't have massive marketing budgets to have a team of sales and marketing people to promote what you do. So you just kind of build it slowly, and hopefully people kind of listen to it. And but it's very important. I think. Yeah, so we have of course distribution in I guess 30 states here. We export to I think maybe almost 40 countries now. Small quantities for everyone. So it's and of course we have a direct to consumer, and then we have Rajat Parr Wine Club, which is 100% direct to consumer, which is kind of an offshoot of Sandhi. And then Domaine de la Cote and Evening Land, they both have probably a third each of direct to consumer straight to the customer.
Work on allocation, or?
Yeah, we work on allocation, and then every state gets their country gets allocation, so everyone gets a little bit. I think we work backwards. So if a state, it depends. Like New York, California, two major states. And you have Texas and Colorado. So, those states have, more demand, so they get the big allocations. Same as Scandinavia, UK, they have a huge demand for our wine, so they get pretty big. Like Norway is a big market for us. Or it's definitely intriguing. I've been asked that question before. I don't know much about it. I know Sula. I know I've had a few wines, but I don't know I've been in the region. I've never had any wines except for Sula. So, yeah, maybe something in the future. Looked forward to. I'm curious.
Watch this space.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Indian food and Chardonnay is tough. The best wine to have with Indian food is orange wine.
Orange wine?
Yeah, orange wine works really well. If you have some big, rich dishes, meat dishes.
What's one of the core dishes of Calcutta?
Well, my parents they live in Calcutta, but they are from the north. So the food of Calcutta is more seafood driven.
Right.
It's like they have a lot of spices, but more fish curries and stuff like that, which is unique to Calcutta, but not my family. Our family food is mostly vegetable driven. But a good fish curry would be amazing. But literally, a great orange wine from Campania or it works really well. I mean, it's Friuli orange wine. Yeah, it's crazy how delicious it is. Yeah, my name is Rajat Parr. You're watching Sommelier Business. Thank you very much.